I didn't block her number, didn't send a final message, didn't raise my voice or slam the door as I left. I simply walked away. When your heart grows weary from pouring everything into someone who doesn't meet you halfway, you stop chasing closure. You seek peace instead. So I chose peace over heartbreak. Not because my love for her faded, but because I finally began to love myself. I thought she'd moved on, that she barely noticed my absence, that someone else had taken my place. But one rainy night, I found her outside my door, drenched, silent, clutching remnants of a life I thought she'd discarded. Our love wasn't a wildfire, all-consuming and fleeting. It was steady, built on late-night conversations that stretched past midnight and mundane moments like picking out each other's favorite snacks at the store. She knew me, my insecurities, my scars, the way I'd hold my breath when I was on the verge of falling apart. Yet somehow it wasn't enough. Her affection waned, first with silence, then with distance, until I felt like the only one still fighting for us. I asked her once what had shifted. She shrugged and murmured, "I don't know." That indifference cut deeper than any argument or betrayal ever could. So I let go. I didn't beg, didn't plead, didn't give her another chance to offer scraps and call it devotion. I packed my belongings, left the key on the table, and with every step away, the weight of pain began to lift. I told myself that peace, even if it was solitary, was better than feeling invisible next to someone I loved. In the weeks that followed, I rebuilt my life. Quiet mornings with coffee, books I'd long neglected, walks where I didn't owe anyone an explanation. Peace wasn't a destination, it was a decision, one I had to make repeatedly, especially when my heart ached for what had hurt it. I wondered if she'd found someone new, if someone else now held the parts of her I could never reach. I convinced myself it didn't matter. She'd made her choice and I'd made mine. Then one night everything shifted. Rain tapped softly against my window as I brewed tea, a new ritual to soothe the quiet. A knock came, gentle, almost hesitant. I opened the door, expecting a neighbor or a delivery, but there she stood, soaked through, eyes heavy with exhaustion and something like regret. She didn't speak, just held out a small box. Inside were fragments of our past, a keychain, a faded concert stub, a note I'd scribbled for her birthday, a photo of us caught in a moment of unguarded joy. "I'm not here to ask for anything," she said, her voice unsteady. I just didn't know where else to turn. I let her in. She stepped inside, dripping, uncertain, like a guest in a place that no longer felt like hers. We sat in silence for what felt like hours until she spoke again. "I didn't replace you," she whispered. "I thought you had," I admitted. She shook her head. "I tried to move on, to fill the emptiness you left, but nothing fit. No one felt like you." Her voice broke. "I didn't realize how much I needed you until you were gone." I looked at her. Not the version I'd painted in my mind after leaving, not the one I'd blamed or mourned, but the woman sitting before me, raw and remorseful. "I hurt you," she said, "not by what I did, but by what I stopped doing. I stopped being there. I stopped trying. And by the time I saw it, you were already gone." Tears glistened in her eyes. "I don't blame you for leaving. I wouldn't have stayed either." She reached into her coat and pulled out a letter. "I wrote this the night you left, but I couldn't send it. I didn't think I deserved to." She set it on the table. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just needed you to know I never stopped loving you. I just forgot how to show it." I stayed silent, not because I felt nothing, but because I felt everything. There were no grand gestures, no cinematic declarations, just two people sitting in the space between what was and what might be. She stood hesitant. "I'll leave," she said softly. "I'm sorry." She moved toward the door, then paused. "Even if we never speak again, thank you for choosing peace. It showed me what I lost when I stopped choosing us." Then she was gone. I didn't follow, not because I didn't care, but because some moments need time to settle before you can understand them. Later, I read her letter. Each word felt like pressing on a wound I hadn't realized was still tender. She wrote of her fears, her self-destruction, the shame of being loved so completely, and not knowing how to give it back. At the end she wrote, "If you found peace, I hope I never disrupt it. But if there's still a piece of you that remembers what we were, I'll be here. Not to fix everything, but to try for real this time." I don't know what comes next. I don't know if her words were sincere, if I'll ever let her back in, or if peace and love can coexist. But I know this. Sometimes the people who shatter you return, holding the pieces they didn't know they kept. And it's up to you to decide whether picking them up will mend you or break you again.